What's going on, YouTube? How you guys doing today? Hope everyone's having a good Saturday. I am set up to finally do a cylinder leak down test. And I'm going to show you guys the compression numbers I had. So this was a few days ago. Front of the engine, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. This whole side was between 130, 150. We're good. So 131, 142, 130, 133. And then on the driver's side, we had 110, 103, 126, and 96 was the worst one. So I already did this, and it's not good. So we're going to do this one. I'll show you guys. If you've never done a leak down test, it's not terribly difficult. So on this one, it says hook your air compressor up. Then we're going to adjust our air so that we're set at 0 on this side. Pretty close. We're just looking to get close. There we go, pretty close. Then what we're going to do is we're going to connect this side of it to the side that I've already got down here on the cylinder. And then I'm going to set you down for a sec. Then you'll be able to see how much leak down you have. Moderate leak down. It's definitely not good. So we're right between the 40 and 60%. And it's definitely leaking right out into the crankcase. So if you listen to it, you can hear there's a little hole right here that vents from the crankcase. And then also right back here, there's a PCV valve. So if you hear it from the block, you know that you've got bad rings. If you hear it from the intake side, like if I were to cover this up and I couldn't hear the sound as well, we'd know it's leaking from the intake. And on this, if you could hear it out the exhaust, which we can't, we would know that the exhaust valve is leaking. So pretty simple test, but it tells you a lot. So we know that on this on this whole side, the piston rings are pretty warm. And so I've never seen an engine where it looks like this. I'm not sure what was going on, but this has been the same issue I've been fighting since I first put this engine in here. And you can see the whole passenger side is pretty decent. I mean, we got 130, 140, 30, 33. But then over here, it's not as good. I've never seen like one whole side not be good. But here we are. So now I know that we have bad rings on one side of the block. So we're going to have to try to fix that. So it's either run it as is and keep having fun with it, which was the plan, is just to have a cheap setup to, go to the track with and throw down and have some fun, or now get into tearing the entire engine down. So the 408 that goes in here is already in progress of being torn down and repaired. So do I really want to go through the pain in the butt of taking this all out and tearing it down and put new rings in it? I don't know. I think what I'm going to have to do is have a couple of beverages this evening and think about what I want to do. So so I went in on this half and half with a buddy of mine. So this is actually supposed to go in his fair lane. So if he wants to take this engine and put new rings in it now, we can put it back in here and then try to run it and see how good we can get it before we throw it in his fair lane. That would probably be, I don't know. I'd like to get it running faster. I know that this combo's got a lot more in it, but that's also why we weren't getting a whole hell of a lot more boost, but it was also why we were throwing more oil out of the breather on the valve cover. So I know that this blower can put out a hell of a lot more boost than we were seeing, but now we know it was all leaking into the crankcase. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do with that. So I could either take it out, put new rings in this, or take my chances with with another engine. I'm not sure what I want to do yet. If you guys got any suggestions, I'm all ears. I'm kind of like, I'm going to take a couple of days, maybe a day, and try to decide what I think is the best course of action. But it's fun as it is, but that's why we weren't making a hell of a lot more power. We had one side that had decent compression. The whole other side, compression was down. We had a whole hell of a lot leak down. That's why, I mean, it's really like when the cylinders are supposed to be balanced, right? So you have one fire there, like that's probably a lot of the reason why we weren't able to rev it up very high as well. It is what it is. But at least now we have a little bit more information. So the leak down test showed that the rings on this side were pretty awful. And I did this one just to show you guys what I had seen. So now we know. What do you guys think? What do you think we should do? Wait for the 408, right? So we could wait for the 408. We could try to rebuild, or not, basically rebuild this one. Have to do new bearings and rings all throughout. Or find another short block, maybe? I mean, I'm not sure what to do. I don't have endless amounts of money. The cheapest option would be to put new rings in this one. So that's what I'm leaning towards. The 408 is going to cost time and money, and that one's not going to be for, a couple of months yet. So just to get this thing making a little bit more power and running a little faster, I think rings on this one. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. Well, anyway, I'm done with the compression test. I'm done with the leak down test. I'm not going to do valve springs because we already know where our problem is, right? Compression. All right, I hope you guys have a good day. I'm going to go watch some UFC fights tonight, so you guys have a good one. Enjoy some drinks for me, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Go Masvidal.
Go Game Bread.